Hi, babe. Welcome to the Horror Babe Show. I'm your host, Chelsea Beller. Did you know I'm 5'9"? That's pretty tall. My mom is tall too. She would always tell me she was probably the tallest in her class in high school, and people used to call her Olive Oil because she was tall and skinny like a beanpole. What is a beanpole? I remember scaring off boys with my height. That is until I met my boyfriend, who's actually shorter than me, but not scared at all. It's actually funny because when we sit together, he's taller than me. He has a longer torso and shorter legs, while I have a shorter torso and long legs. You like that? Huh? Yep, she's done it again. Here we go. We're reviewing LongLegs. First off, I wanted to have this video out last week, but for some reason I'm incredibly busy as an unemployed person. Go figure, right? There will be spoilers toward the end of this video, so just be aware, and I will make sure to give a verbal warning. My friend Leslie and I went to see LongLegs at the Vista Theater in Los Feliz, California. If you have not been to this theater, it is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. Apparently they revamped it a couple years ago, and Quentin Tarantino owns it now, or has owned it for a while. Not up to the news there. But it's beautiful. If you're in the area, you should absolutely go. Let's go into a brief summation. LongLegs is a horror mystery film taking place in the 90s, centering around FBI agent Lee Harker. Lee Harker is a new FBI agent who proves to have some possible intuitive insight. She's put on a case that's been ongoing since 1974. Seemingly, all of the murders within this case would appear to be completely unrelated. Each case involves the patriarch of the family going completely bananas and murdering his entire family, ending in a suicide. But there's always a coded note left behind, signed LongLegs. FBI agent Harker uses her smarts and intuition to try to figure out who is LongLegs and who is performing these murders without actually performing these murders. When this film ended, granted, I was in a beautiful theater. I was with my friend. We were having a wonderful time. And we looked at each other like we had just been transported from the past. I felt like I had been completely time warped. The majority of this film takes place in the 90s, but some of it takes place in the 70s, and the way it was filmed completely transports you. The cinematography was so moody. I loved it. The score really makes the film, builds the tension, of course, but I will say it clues you into the couple of jump scares that the movie has, which is pretty typical, right? Maika Monroe, known for her roles in It Follows and Watcher, plays the lead, Lee Harker. Her character has an awkward way about her. She's very direct, to the point, not much for idle chit-chat. She very much tells it like it is. She has some seriously funny moments because of this, and it's because she's not playing up the character. I don't want to get too much into Nick Cage. I feel like it would give it away, but I do think he did a really brilliant job. I know this is controversial because it's Nick Cage, but I actually think he did a really great job. He really immersed himself into this character. And it left me wondering, did he practice these mannerisms and that voice every day for weeks and weeks and weeks until the movie was shot? Probably, because it's Nick Cage. Okay, criticisms and spoilers. My criticisms are, waiting for the non-spoiler listeners to fast forward, just click to the next section. There you go. I had a lot of questions regarding the plot. I wanted the ending to be more than the devil made me do it. If you don't mind spoilers, or you actually want spoilers, we're gonna deep dive into this, so hang in there with me. LongLegs came to Lee's childhood home when she was a kid. It was the day before her birthday. He was literally there to murder her and her mother, but her mother intervened. She bartered for her and Lee's life. She said, "I will do anything you want, just please let me and my daughter live." So he was like, "Great, I'm gonna move into the basement where I'm gonna build dolls and put weird metal balls inside their heads that have this black misty stuff inside that will possess people and make them kill each other." Cool? Oh, and you will be my accomplice, hand delivering these dolls to these innocent people. And that's what happened. Lee's mom would dress up as a nun and hand deliver these life-size dolls to these families, where the doll would eventually possess them to kill each other because of the metal ball inside of the doll's head. I explained this plot line to a friend of mine, or I was trying to, and honestly, I had to stop myself. I'm a pretty good storyteller. Obviously, I have a YouTube channel, so I must think I can do this okay. But I stopped myself in the middle and went, did any of that make sense? And she was following along just fine, but I had to ask myself, am I doing a terrible job explaining this? Does any of this make any sense at all to you? Like, what is this plot? When I was sat in the chair in the theater, I was completely there. I was there. I was following along to the best of my ability, you know? Like, okay, he's a crazy maniacal man. He builds dolls. He's living in her basement. He has the mom as the nun bring the dolls to the families, and Lee is why she is the way she is because of the doll and the metal ball inside of her head. It's just the most absurd. How did they pitch this? Oh God. A metal ball inside the doll's head has some kind of black spooky mist inside of it that possesses the patriarch of the family to kill the family, including himself, and all of that is because some guy builds dolls in the name of Satan? What the fuck? Again, how did they pitch this? So me being me, I'm like, but why? Why a doll? Why do you need the doll at all? Why does someone in the family have to have a birthday on the 14th of any given month? Why LongLegs? Why is that the name of the movie? Why is that the name he gave himself? Why leave a coded note? Why leave a note at all? These murders were completely unrelated until you left the note. So these murders wouldn't have been investigated at all if you hadn't left the note behind. So obviously you were trying to get caught. No? Why can't Satan carry out these murders himself? What's stopping him? Okay. So, let's start with one question. Specifically, why LongLegs? Right? He wasn't obsessed with anyone with long legs. He himself didn't have particularly long legs. I watched a few of those Ending Explained videos here on YouTube, and someone said he becomes the patriarch of Lee's household when he moves in physically into the house. Even though Lee doesn't know he's there, he's simply the man of the house because he is a male human living in the house. And there isn't an already existing father figure, so he becomes the daddy LongLegs. That didn't quite do it for me. Just because a male human moves into your basement doesn't make you the daddy in this situation. But that did get me thinking about LongLegs, Daddy LongLegs. The spider. I've seen spiders in Christian-based horror movies before, horror movies about Christianity in any sense, and I've kind of wondered where that symbolism comes from. What does a spider symbolize in Christianity? Well, here we go. No one brings suit justly, no one pleads truthfully. They trust an empty plea and tell lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth malice. They hatch adders' eggs and weave spiders' webs. Whoever eats the eggs will die. If one of them is crushed, it will hatch a viper. Their webs cannot serve as clothing, nor can they cover themselves with their works. Their works are evil works, and deeds of violence are in their hands. Isaiah 59, 4-6. So adding that Bible verse to the mix, LongLegs could be interpreted as the biblical connotation of a spider. He brings forth malice. The metal balls inside the dolls' heads could symbolize eggs, spiders' eggs, and whoever eats the eggs will die. The family's possessed by the dolls, which had the metal balls inside their heads, did die. He wore white like a spider's web. That's a bit of a stretch, but kind of. Deeds of violence are in their hands. That reminds me of the scene where Ruth, Lee's mom, is in the car. I think it's after the first time she delivered a doll, and she has literal blood on her hands, and she kind of smears it on her face. So that reminds me of that. She's the one carrying out these deeds. There's something there, potentially. Now, what about this one? Why did it have to be that each of these victims had to have a birthday on the 14th of any given month? Well, apparently, 14 in numerology and Christian belief is a perfect number, known for divinity, salvation, and deliverance. Well, the families, the victims, were being delivered a gift from Satan. Perhaps Satan chose the 14th as a form of irony, blasphemy, or possibly because he believed he was saving them. I could bore you with more talks of themes and motifs, but in general, I do believe there is a heavy dose of religion in the mix here. I think that is supposed to answer a lot of the questions. Maybe so, maybe not. I think a lot of creative choices were made with Christianity in mind. Hell, I believe the idea that a nun bringing a gift from the church, which turns out to be a demonic being carrying out Satan's wishes, is the purest form of irony. What exactly would be the commentary there? That evil can be found in the unlikeliest of places? I mean, Lee's mom did say she used to be a nurse, and then she became who she became, so kind of not wrong. Rating time. All right, I initially gave it a 4.5 out of 5, but I think now I'm going to bring it down to a 4, because I've had the chance to think about it a lot, obviously. I think the hype was too much. The cinematography, the performances, all great. The creativity, certainly. I mean, I can honestly say I've never watched a movie quite like this before. So there's that. It definitely had its uniqueness, but I'm marking it down a point for the lack of clarity on the plot. I had too many questions walking out of the theater, not enough answers. So, did you see LongLegs? What did you think of it? Now, before I go find some extra tall pants for my freaky long legs, here's a spooky reminder that I have a Patreon. That's right, if you like exclusive horror content, you got it, babe. Or if you'd love to support the show, but you only have money for, let's say, a coffee, you can buy me a coffee. I appreciate it a ton, and I will shout you out in the next episode. Well, that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, follow, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Letterboxd to see what I'm watching and what I'm rating. Bye, babe.